Hello and welcome back to this channel. So in today's video, we're going to go ahead and illustrate together this particular illustration in Adobe Fresco. So let's just get started. I'm going to click on Create New, go to Print, and we're going to use this small postcard that comes with Fresco. If you don't see this in the landscape format, just click on this tiny arrow here and switch to landscape and then click on it. As usual, I have a color palette and a sketch for you guys, so go ahead and download it from the link in the description box below. Once you have downloaded them onto the device that has Fresco, let's go ahead and get it into Fresco. You can do that by clicking on this images and clicking on photos and bringing it in. So I've gotten my sketch. Once you have it, click on done. Let's go into the levels here and click on multiply, just so that the background kind of goes away, and then reduce the opacity to as low or as high you want it to be. This sketch looks super weird, but don't worry, this is all we need for this illustration, okay? Let's bring in the color palette. Click on done. So you can go ahead and add this color palette into yours. I mean, you can't really add it, but what you can do is you can click and hold until this icon pops up. You get this icon only if you are in one of the brushes, by the way, and this color gets selected, and now you can just draw on your artboard. It doesn't matter which brush you're on. It also creates a new layer, so you're not going to damage your color palette, okay? And once you have this, if you go into your color palette and click on recents, you can see that that color has been selected and stored here. So that's how you can go ahead and select all the colors and put it in your palette. But I'm not going to do that for this illustration or this video, because I want to go ahead and pick these colors from this color palette itself so that I can tell you exactly which color I'm picking up. It just makes my life a little bit easier, okay? And once you're done, you can click on this I button to hide that. For the color palette, I'm just going to go ahead and place it here in the artboard. So to make sure that it shows up on the other side of the artboard, you have to make a tiny little setting change. Go to your settings, and in here, make sure your artboard preview is turned off. This is on and this is off. And now you can click on your transform tool and move this up or wherever you want, by the way, and click on done. The reason we did this is if this is on, that goes away and we want it on the screen, so we're going to turn that off. Alright, let's start illustrating now. So I'll be using vector brushes for almost all of my illustration here. When I say vector brushes, I'm just going to be using the basic round. You can use any brush that you want, it really doesn't matter. And for my brush setting, it really doesn't matter the size again, it depends on how easy it is for you to use a thin or a thick brush. I think I'm going to set it at 8. I can always change it later on. The smoothing is set to 50. If you have a shaky hand or if you think you can't draw nice lines, you can actually increase this up a little bit. Don't keep it really high, because then there's a very visible lag between your pencil and the thing that comes on the screen. What I mean is, you see the difference. So you don't want that, okay? So we're just going to keep it at about 50. For size, you can also use this slider to move up and down, or you click and hold and then you get a keypad where you can type in the size. Alright, so now that we have sorted this out, let's go ahead and start illustrating. The first off, we'll start with the pumpkin. And for pumpkin, I have some colors here. By the way, these two are exactly the same color. So if you click and hold, you can see the color over here. That's HSB color 33, 88 and 95, and that's the same thing here. So these two colors are exactly same. I don't know why I have a copy of that, okay? So I've selected that color now, and I'm going to go here and click on a new layer. So we're going to make everything on separate layers, because it makes your life much easier when you need to edit things later on. If you feel the number of layers has been has gone out of control or it's overwhelming, you can always group them later. But if you merge layers together, you really have, you can't really go back after that, right? So we're just going to make sure we keep everything separate and neat so that it's easy to edit later on. Alright, so I'm just going to start off with this pumpkin here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and draw a pumpkin. Weird shape, but okay. And use your fill tool here to fill it in. And let's go ahead here, again the vector brush. This one's going to be a bit round. And fill it in. Okay, and now let's go ahead and select a brown. And make sure you're on your brush. And let's put a stalk like that. And this one is a little bendy, like this. And I want some leaves for that, so I'm just going to go ahead and choose some green. Doesn't matter which green, choose some green from the leaves section. And let's just draw a couple of leaves like this. Okay, that's cool. Now we have to enhance this, add some more details, so click on a new layer. And this one, we're going to convert it into a clipping mask by clicking on this. So what this does is, whatever you draw on this layer, it shows up only on the area where there's pumpkin. So let's go ahead and select this really light orange here. And I want to add some texture to this. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and choose a different brush. Let's go into your pixel brushes and we'll go into comics. And in here, you have something called halftone 5. I think that works really well for this illustration. And my size is set to 157. The flow is at 100 and smoothing is at 1. I'm going to go ahead and add some texture here like that. And I'm going to do the same thing here. A little bit, don't add too much, just a little bit. Let's create one more layer. In this one too, we're going to make it into a clipping mask. We'll go back to our vector brush, same setting. I'm going to choose this pink. And then we're going to add 2 lines like this. Like that. And then here we can add a few more lines like that. Okay, so our pumpkins are ready. Now time to move on to a new thing. So click on a new layer. If you want, by the way, you can group them together right now. That is, you can go to your pumpkin layer, click on the 3 dots here, click on select multiple and select everything that you have for the pumpkin layer and click on this folder so that now it's grouped. So you see, it's all in one single group. Okay, let's go to the next layer now, and I think I want to do the flowers right now. So there's a flower here and there's a flower here. I know it doesn't look like a flower, but you know, it is a flower. Don't worry. We'll make it into a flower right now. Okay. So let's choose the dark color now, the darkest yellow that we have. And we are obviously on the vector brush. And I'm going to draw this flower right here. Okay. And my flower is going to be super simple. Something like this. Like that. Use your fill tool and fill it in. Let's click on a new layer. And I'm going to choose the yellow here, the lighter one. Draw this. Oops. Cancel. Go to your vector brush. Click on a new layer. And make sure you draw it so that it comes in the gaps like this. Fill it up. That looks good. Now click on a new layer. And I'm going to choose the green that comes here. This one. And vector brush, obviously. And let's make this little tiny stalk, maybe like this. You can actually make this thicker as well. Let's fill it in. Okay, that looks good. That flower is ready. Now it's time to make the red one. And for red one, I'm just going to go back into the layer which has the darker yellow. And I'm going to go ahead and select the dark red. And use your brush. Let's do this again. Fill it up. Go to the other layer. Lighter red, brush tool, and now green again. You can use the same green. Perfect. But there are more flowers in here. There's one here as well, this round. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'll go back to this layer. That's the dark colored layer. Let's just use this lighter color. And go ahead and make a flower. So this is going to be super simple. Oops, go to your vector brush and fill tool. Now use the dark color. You can choose it from here as well. Vector brush and just turn the center. One more here like that. And then vector brush. This one it's going to be like that and like this. Fill it up, and then let's choose this really light color, and then I'm gonna make this like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and select this brown, something like that, and there you go. Okay, so change of scenery because I had to move my filming space. Alright, so let's just continue with that illustration. Okay, so we were doing flowers, and I think I'm done with the flower part of it. And let's go ahead and do the other things now. I think I want to do this sock thingy because let's make all the big items or the big illustrations first, and then you can fill in the fillers or the tiny things later in the end so that we have a very cohesive illustration. Okay, so let's go ahead and do socks. So for that, I can go ahead and pick a new layer, but let me group these three things together. Okay, the florals, I mean, you have there, select multiple, select the florals, yeah, folder, that's it. Click on new layer, and for socks, two colors. You can choose any color, by the way. I'm going to choose that. I'm on my vector brush. Let's go ahead and do this. And again that. And fill it. Okay, and click on a new layer, make it into a clipping mask. Let's select that brown. And go to vector brush and draw some designs. That's it, and I think I want to fix this. So it's easy to fix this one here. Just go to the layer which has the white color or the whatever, the lighter brown. Go ahead and select it. I'm going to undo that. And then draw so that, you fix it like this. Super simple. Let's click on a new layer now and let's go ahead and do apple. Okay, let's go ahead and go check out apple. Oh, here it is. I'm going to go ahead and select this red brush and let's draw an apple like that. Make sure you close your ends, otherwise your fill tool won't work. Okay, and then you can go ahead and click on a new layer and clipping marks, obviously, and I'm going to choose this light yellow that I have. I'm going to draw some vector brush and draw some blobs like this. I'll go back into the apple layer now and choose this green and draw a stalk, maybe a leaf like this, but I'm going to go ahead and choose this orange and go into this clipping mask because it'll make it easier, by the way, and draw this orange leaf here like that, half of it. Okay, so click on a new layer now and let's go ahead and make this orange right here. So do we have a thing for orange? I don't think so, but that's okay. You know what? Let's use this orange from the apple. I'm going to go ahead and draw this here. Something like this and like this. Let's go ahead and fill it. You see it's above the florals. I actually want it below this, so we're going to move it later. But then let's go ahead and choose this green vector brush. Keep switching. Right? And then something like that. That looks good. Now I want this all the way down. So you can click and hold until this kind of pops up. And then you can use your brush to go ahead and move it wherever you want. I'll move it right below the pumpkin layer. It doesn't matter because, it's below the floral layer. Okay. And now I'm going to add some bits to this. So probably I'll take this one. Let's see how it looks like. Okay. Add a new layer. Clipping mask. We are in the vector tool. I don't like it, so I'm going to choose that. So you can actually go here and just pull this a bit this side towards the white, and then you have a lighter looking color. And then let's go ahead and do some dots like this. More dots here and lesser as they go up here. Okay. So orange is ready as well, and there's some big blob here, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And for that I could use something very orange, but I don't want too orange, so I'm just going to try and use this one under twigs and obviously go above clipping mask and click on a new layer. Vector brush, really important, and then draw something like this. Go ahead and fill it up, and let's go ahead and choose some really light color. I think I want this under cup. You can choose whichever you want. Okay, and be on your vector brush, and I'm going to go ahead and make some blobs like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this teacup. So for the cup, I'm going to choose this color. Let's go ahead and use the vector brush and fill it in. Use your fill tool and color it in. Now let's go ahead and choose this brown. Use your vector brush again. Going to go ahead and make something like this. But wait a minute. Let's go to a new layer and clipping mask. because we're going to make it so that it doesn't go beyond this thing which we have drawn, right? And then we want some flowers here. This is too thick, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce it to 5. Undo that and make some design here, maybe here as well. I don't see that, it's not really nice. So I'll go back to this layer, select this layer. Doesn't matter which color you're on, by the way. I fixed it. Okay, that looks good. And we need to add a bit of a shadow. So I'm going to go to the layer below that. Doesn't matter which layer you're on. Click on a new layer so that it's right below the cup. And we have the shadow color under the cup. I'm going to choose that and add a shadow like this. And the final bit, that is this really light color, I'm going to add a bit of a smoke like that. Don't worry, we're going to change the background color and then you can see this pretty well. Okay, our teacup is ready. Let's go ahead and do these acorns. Okay, so go ahead and click on a new layer. So it's a completely different layer. And do we have the acorn bit? Of course we do. Let's take the light one. And the acorn is going to be super simple. Let's do the one in the background first. That is, this is going to be in the back. So go to your vector brush and then your acorn shape is going to be something like this. Let's fill it in and let's go ahead and take the darker color. Go back here, take vector brush and draw a head like that. And obviously a bit like this and fill it in. There you go. Now click on a new layer and choose this color. Now I want to add a bit of shadow to the lower one. So I'm just going to go into the lower acorn, click on a new layer and click on clipping mask. Make sure you're on this color, vector brush. I'm just going to go ahead and draw a bit here. It's okay, you can't see it now. So go to these levels, click on multiply and then reduce the opacity to how much ever you want. And now you can actually see the shadow. And you can actually go ahead and increase or decrease it. You can use the shadow brush to do that as well, but I just want it to be all crisp and nice. So I'm just going to use this to create that effect. Okay. All right. So now the acorn is ready. And now let's go ahead and make this kettle. So I'm just going to go above the acorn layer, click on a new layer. And then let's go ahead and pick the colors. So it's up here. I'm just going to choose this lighter color. Make sure you're on your vector brush. And then do this, maybe this. You obviously want a handle. And then over here like that. Okay, now use your fill tool. Fill. Oh, that's too light. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the darker one for now. Let's see. Okay, that's better. I have to choose this color. Okay, so click on a new layer and click on clipping mask and we'll make some designs on it. Okay, now let's go back to the kettle layer here and then choose this really light or pale yellow. We're going to make some smoke kind of a thing. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, that looks good. Kettle is done. Now go ahead on the clipping mask, click on a new layer and maybe we'll start, I don't know what else is there, which is a big one. Okay, let's do some leaves now. Oh, we need to fill this one out, right? So let's go ahead and do that. You can take any color that you want, like I told you earlier. I'm just going to choose this one, the third one, and obviously on a new layer. Now click on a new layer and make sure it's clipping mask. And let's go to the levels here and select screen. And you can click on it again so that it goes away. And go to your vector brush. And I'm going to go ahead and make some lines like this. Okay, that's good. You can actually go and reduce the opacity of this. Maybe make it about 40s or something. All right, so let's go ahead and make some more leaves. So click on a new layer and I want one here. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose this dark green, That's the second from last. I'm on a vector brush, so my leaf is just going to be like this. I'll use my fill tool to fill. Okay, and then go back to your vector brush, and I want to make this thicker. Now click on a new layer and a clipping mask, and I want to add some really light shades to it. So maybe this, I will just add here half of it. You can go ahead and add some texture or something if you want to, like how you did for the pumpkin. You can do the same thing here as well. But I think that should be fine. And I want it below the kettle. So I'm going to go ahead and group these two together. So click, select multiple, and make it into a folder. So that you can click and go ahead and drag it all the way down below the kettle layer. And it'll go sit like that, okay? And now if you want to arrange it a little bit, you can use the transform tool and move things like this as well. And click on done. Okay, so now it's time to make some twigs because we need to start filling out things, okay? I think most of my twigs are going to be on the topmost layer. So I'll go to the topmost layer and click on a new layer. And we have something called twigs here. Oh yeah, we do. So I'm going to choose this dark brown and be on the vector brush, obviously. And let's make one here. So my twig is going to be one single thing like this. And maybe like that. It need not be perfect. As long as you're having fun, that's all it matters, okay? I'm going to go ahead and add some of these colors. So you don't have to go and pick every color from there. You can just go into a palette. If you go to recents, you see that all these colors have been picked up already, right? So I'm just going to pick some color up from there and then try to draw things like this. Okay, that is good. I think I want this to be a little thicker. All right, that's done. Let's do one more here. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and click on a new layer. And let's select this lighter one. I want this to go on the orange like this. Okay, and click on a new layer. And again, you can go ahead and add some colors. And let's make one here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on a new layer. And let's choose this dark color. I'm going to make it on top of this. Click on a new layer and choose the same colors if you want to. Now I want some leaves or things like that, so I'm going to click on a new layer and I'll go back into, you can actually choose here itself from the leaves. So I'll choose this darker green and I need to fill in some places. For example, here, you see there's a lot of gaps. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill it up like this. Just drawing like that, okay? I need to make sure that this goes all the way to the bottom. We don't want it up here, so let me just drag, put it all the way to the bottom like that. You can actually increase the size over there, so I'm just going to click and clear layer and make this about 8 or 9 or something like that. Still thin, maybe 10. Okay, that looks better. And I want one, let's see, I want one here as well. I'll use the same layer. I'm going to choose some other color, maybe this green. I will draw a bit of a thing here. Now let's go ahead and do the rest of the artwork. That is, you have to fill in all these places now. For example, there's so much empty space here, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and click on a new layer. You can move this anytime, anywhere you want. So let's go ahead and select this yellow that we have for flowers. I'm going to use that one, okay? And I'm going to go into my vector brush and I'm just going to draw some things like this. Some small ones, some big ones. And they can go all the way up here. Okay, that looks good. Now I'll use the fill tool and then fill some of them in, not all of them, because you want them to look a bit different. Okay, that looks good. Now click on a new layer. We'll do the same thing here with the pumpkin. So select the vector brush and let's draw some. Oh, we need to have this above the pumpkin layer, by the way, because we're going to make some above the pumpkin. Here they are. Okay. Now that's done as well. Now let's make some tiny elements, but before that, let's go ahead and add some background to this. Okay, so go all the way down below the bottommost layer that you have and click on a new layer, and now use the vector brush, and in here you have something called background. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that background color, and you see this line here, this round, that's what that was supposed to be for the background. So you're just going to quickly sketch on that. Use your fill tool to fill it in. Oops, it wasn't closed, I guess. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure it is. If you cannot see it, you can bring it all the way up, by the way, and see what's happening. Oh, there you go. This hasn't been closed. Okay, so you can make sure that you have closed it nicely, and I see there's a bit of extra which came out. I don't like it, so I'm just going to go ahead and erase that off. Okay, and fill it in. Perfect. Now you can bring this all the way down, and you can see that your illustration is coming through already, right? So I'm going to go ahead and hide the sketch now. You don't need it anymore. Now let's go ahead and add some tiny details. I'm going to go into my topmost layer, click on a new layer, and we're going to use all the colors that we have here, like the yellows and oranges and things like that. So let's choose orange and go to your vector brush, and you just have to make some things like this. Maybe over here, you have some space here, and then choose this pink or this red, and I would like one here. You can also make things going out here. Let me make this, increase this. Okay, and then if you have space, just put one wherever you can see some things like that. No, there's too much of red over there. We don't want it over there. Maybe here. Let's put one on top of this, maybe an apple, right? And maybe over here. That's cool. And let's select that light pink that we have. I want one here, maybe one here. And if you cannot draw this shape, just draw some circles or dots as well. It doesn't matter. It's just adding some extra elements to your artwork. So just go ahead and do whatever is comfortable for you. Okay, and then like that. Now let's go ahead and choose a bit of a green here, and I'm going to add one here and this here. Let's see, let's take a look, step back and take a look, and if you feel like oops, there's too much happening, you can always stop. Maybe here. There you go. I think I should stop right now. It might be too much otherwise, right? Okay, this looks perfectly fine. Now we're going to go ahead and go into our background here. I'm going to add a new layer. Click on clipping mask. Select the same color. You can do that by clicking on this like this. And we're going to change this into screen. By now you should be knowing like what I'm trying to do. Let's do that and go into your brushes. Go to your comics and halftone. The one which we used here, halftone 5. And the setting is 157, etc. It doesn't matter. Oops, maybe it matters. Let's increase this to about 300 or 400. It's still too much. So I'm just going to lightly add things. So maybe around 600. So just lightly add things. Don't make it too much, just a little bit of texture is okay. And if you feel it's too dark, you can go here and reduce the opacity. I'm going to do that. I'll keep it around 30s or something. I don't know if you can see through screen, but I do have some texture. Okay, that's done too. And now let's go ahead and add the final background. That is, go below this layer and click on a new layer. And we're going to choose this color from the background. Where's the background? Okay, here it is. Select this one. Click on your fill tool. Click and vector fill. Now click on a new layer. And we're going to go into are comics brushes, and that is this crosshatch. And my crosshatch is set to about 260, flow is 100, and smoothing is 1. And I'm going to go ahead and choose the other color here. That's a little darker color, this one. And we're going to add some crosshatch here and there, okay, just to give it some texture. As you can see, I'm not putting a lot of pressure everywhere. I'm just going to add some bits and pieces here and there like that, okay. And then I'm going to go into a halftone. Let's go to halftone 2, and the size is set to about 500, 550s. So I'm just going to add a bit of halftones here and there like that, so that it looks a little nicer, like that. And once you're done, don't add too much texture, by the way. It's a little bit here and there is enough, okay. And once you're done with the background. The only thing left now to do is to add some text. So go to the topmost layer, click on a new layer, and you can add some text. And I've already provided the color for the text. You can select that. And the text I'm using is Marvin. You can use any text that you want. If you don't have access to this particular text, use whatever suits. Or you can actually use your own handwriting and draw something very cute. So I'm going to go into a text, click, and I'm going to choose Marvin here and go back. Yes, regular. I'm going to click on the keyboard and write caps lock. Hello, written autumn. You can also write hello fall, doesn't matter, okay. Next, I'll click on the keyboard again so that it gets selected. And let's go here and click on this center so that it gets center lined or whatever. And then I'll use this button to increase the size of my text. Once you're done, you can just click and select any brush, and then it goes away. You can now actually edit again by clicking on the text icon and then moving it, like making it bigger, smaller, whatever, and then placing it wherever you want. Once you're done, just click on your brush and you'll go back to whatever it is, okay? Okay, and I think we are done with our illustration. We have put in everything. If you want to add shadows, it's a completely different step. You can go ahead and do that, by the way. You can also add texture to almost anything here. If you want to add texture, for example, if you want to add texture to the apple, just go into the apple layer, click on a new layer, and let's go ahead and choose some texture. You can use some dry media as well, maybe rough pencil. And I'm going to make it very big, maybe about that much. Let's see. Yeah, that's okay. That looks good. And I can actually choose the same color by clicking and holding. And let's maybe make this multiply. Let's make this darker and reduce the opacity. And then you can just add some texture like this, or reduce the opacity even more. And you can see that there's a very nice texture thing happening. So you can go ahead and do that to everything, including the text, and maybe it'll look good, maybe it won't. You have to experiment with that. Okay, so once you're done with everything, and if you want to hide this one, go ahead and click on Artboard Preview, and then your color palette goes away. And if you pinch, it shows you have created a very nice illustration which is ready to be exported. So you can just click on this share button, publish and export. You can export as PNG or anything that you want, and click on export and it'll be done. There's also one more option. You can click on publish and export. And you can do a time-lapse export. That is, you can play this as a video. Look at that. How cool is that? Okay, and you can export it as whatever you want. I'm just going to cancel that. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this tutorial, and I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified next time I post a new video. If you want to support this channel, to keep this channel going, you can help me out by buying me a coffee at ko-fi.com. You can find the link to do that in the description box below. You can also support this channel by sharing this video with your friends, family, or anybody who's interested in Fresco, or just on your social media handles so that my channel gets a little bit more exposure. If you do create something using one of my tutorials, make sure to tag me on Instagram with Print Me Some Color or Think Beyond Color. I would love to check it out. I guess I'll see you in the next video then. Bye bye.